Hi everyone, welcome to Blue Heron Hill. I'm Sue. Down in the basement in the seed starting area, we have got the start of the major seed starting now. And today we're going to be talking about brassicas. But first I wanted to show you a little bit of the progress on sweet potatoes. This is a sweet potato in the classic water in a jar method, and you can see here lots of sprouts on this particular sweet potato. This is about 3 weeks old, I think. Not as far as long as I thought it would be. I have another one right here. You can see those two right there, and there's another small one over here. This is a lot slower and not really what I wanted it to be at this particular point in its development. But the other method I use is a sweet potato just in moist soil. I keep this moist, and you can see, there you go, you can see the sprouts coming off of that sweet potato. And there's also some coming off these little fingerlings, which were a part of this sweet potato tuber. So very pleased with this. This is a method I've been doing for about the last 2-3 years. And I find that this method works. It's superior to that method. So let me know down in the comments down below. What method do you use, or is there a different method you use? How's it working for you? I have another one over here. This one's a little bit further behind, but you can see it's got a little bit of one on this one here. All along this edge here, there's a few. This one is a little soft on this end here. I may just pull this one out because I don't see any sprouts at all coming on that one. So it might just be decaying. Don't want to transfer any kind of that decay to this one. Looks like I will have enough slips for my garden this summer. So preferred method in the soil. But I wanted to do this method just to do kind of a comparison in case anybody was interested in either one. Okay, on to brassicas. Brassicas are renowned for their distinctive flavor, okay? And they can go from a mild to even a more spicy flavor profile. Usually depends upon the type and the part of the plant that is being eaten. They have many health benefits, lots of vitamin C, vitamin K, beta carotene, and they're a great source of fiber for our bodies, so they can lower cholesterol and improve our digestion. Most of the brassicas that I'm going to be mentioning can be planted outdoors about 4 weeks before your last frost date, with adequate protection available to protect them against hard frosts. They are cold tolerant, but there are some things that you can do to protect them from the real harshness of the winter. So brassicas like kale and mustard greens and the arugula, you can direct seed those into the garden, or you can start them by seed indoors and then acclimate them outside into your garden. Radish and turnips. Turnips is another one. I don't grow turnips. Those are root crops. They don't transplant well, so you're going to start them by seed in your garden. Some of the easiest ones to grow, and those that are like very beginner friendly, would be number one, I would say radishes. I have a couple here. This is my favorite go-to, is the French breakfast radish. It's a little bit elongated. It's not so sharp and spicy. It's pretty mild. And like most radishes, their harvest time is even as short as 21 days. So I do successive planting of most of my radishes. Another one I grow, and I have grown, is this white icicle. It's a very nice one. To me, I like the flavor of it in the fall. It's pretty good. Another one is Cherry Bell. Very popular one. You see it everywhere. Very easy to grow. Successive plantings, you can get about, I don't know, 3 or 4 until the weather gets really hot. Most radishes don't like it when it's really hot, so then you pull back and you start planting again in the end of August or so for the cooler temperatures. Another radish is this one. It's the watermelon, and it's a daikon radish. It's a little bit different. I've tried this in the spring. It doesn't work for me so well in the spring, but it does just fine in the cooler fall temperatures. So radishes. Another easy, beginner-friendly crop would be kale. I don't have my seeds right here. Kale's so easy to grow, and actually in many climates it will last throughout the winter, and you still be able to harvest some in the spring. But generally by late spring the kale is starting to bolt. But I've been able to successfully harvest throughout the winter. As a matter of fact, we've had a very cold winter, lots of snow this winter. And some of the snow is finally beginning to melt off of my beds, and voila, there's a kale plant, still green and growing under all of that snow. So I'm going to let that one grow, and I will be planting more kale. One variety is it's a Russian red kale, I think. That's what it is. It's a really good one. There's multiple varieties, plenty to choose from. Look at your seed packets, look up the description, and choose one. And it's very good. Another thing would be like arugula. That's in the lettuce family, you know, or you think of it as in the lettuce family, but it's Brassica. It does very well in the cooler temperatures of the spring and the fall. I find it bolts in the summer. Mustard greens, another Brassica, very prolific. These mustard greens, I have 2 here. I have this one, which I picked up new this year. I'm going to try this variety. This was last year. This did fantastic. I had more than I needed. As a matter of fact, the chickens and the bunny were graced with an abundant crop of mustard that they could munch on. So, few of very beginner-friendly brassicas. All right, our first brassica up is broccoli, and that is the variety that I usually grow. Also, Waltham is another variety that I grow. I love these. They're very easy to grow. One benefit of broccoli is you can get a second cutting of them after you cut the head off. The head of broccoli off, you usually get side shoots. Look for varieties that say they produce a lot of these side shoots, so it gives you another extra harvest off of one plant. Broccoli is also a great fall crop too. So, and if you want to do fall crops of your brassicas, again, you have to start them indoor. In my area, I usually start them end of June, very beginning of July. Then they can get out into the garden in August, and then start growing and acclimating. They'll have a little bit of that hot weather, but that'll help those young seedlings, and then they can go right into a cooler climate that they absolutely love, and they'll be very acclimated to the cooler temperatures as they drop down day by day. And they have a much sweeter taste when they're harvested in the fall. So give those a try. Another brassica are cauliflower, and this is the variety that I grow, Snowball. And here it is, lots of good information on the back. It's a smaller variety. Let me see, it's 70, 80 days till harvest, not too bad. cauliflower, lots of different colors. You have the white one, that's my snowball. There's also purple cauliflower, and I think there's green cauliflower. All sorts of lovely, luscious shades of deliciousness. Anyway, cauliflower. Next up, Brussels sprouts. And I just mentioned Brussels sprouts because a lot of people like to grow them. I don't grow them. I have tried them. I've tried to grow them a number of times. Have a very long growing season. I would not start them for a spring crop. I would start them for a fall crop so they develop in the cooler temperatures, and actually they can stay out in your garden all winter long. I have a problem with Brussels sprouts and the insect pressure that's involved with them. I don't have tenting tall enough to be able to completely cover those crops and keep that cabbage butterfly moth off of those crops. So I have given up growing Brussels sprouts. I'll buy them at the market instead. Okay, next one, cabbages. This is Tierra, one of my favorite ones to grow. And also another one I grow is Brunswick. Either one, or I mix them together, it really doesn't matter. Cabbage is a wonderful brassica to grow. It does have a couple drawbacks in that it's a space hog. It takes up a lot of room in your garden. But if you want to look at it this way, all of those leaves spread out over the soil and they cover it up and you don't have to weed. So I like to look at it as a positive in that way. And cabbage comes in different colors also. You have the green cabbage, which I grow. Occasionally at the nursery, I may buy a red cabbage or purple cabbage. It's called different things. Okay, next one up I have is Chinese cabbage or Napa cabbage. They are two different ones. They are two different, but they're semi-interchangeable if you go to the market. Sometimes they're called Chinese cabbage, sometimes they're called Napa cabbage. The problem I have with this type of brassica is the pest pressure. And not only is it the cabbage moths, which I can deal with because I tent them, I also have a problem with slugs, laying their eggs on them, and then those develop and munch away at the whole thing. You either have to treat the soil or spray the plants down all the time. I'm working on it. I'm getting better at it every single year. Beer traps seem to help a whole lot early on if you get them nipped in the bud early. Okay, next up two is kohlrabi. I don't know if you could see this one, kohlrabi. This is a white kohlrabi, and I've also gotten this one, which is a green or a purple one. Great plant if you haven't tried it. It takes up less space than, say, your cabbage. You can see these leaves that come up this way like that. So you can get a lot more in. Eating them fresh, sliced or shredded as a slaw or as a on your salad, frozen to save for soups and stews later on in the winter. I found that you can tuck the kohlrabi in lots of places in your garden, and I didn't find that it was particularly susceptible to the insect pressure that things like the broccoli and the cabbage are. Okay, once you start your seedlings and then they grow up and it gets to be that time to plant them in the garden, you remember they need to be hardened off gradually, moving in and out of the sunlight so they don't get scorched and they get acclimated to the cooler temperatures that may be existing in your spring garden. See in the forecast an unexpected frost or something like that. These little seedlings probably need to be covered either with a fabric row cloth or some kind of protection because they are not acclimated to the below freezing temperatures. Okay, as far as fertilizing your brassicas, they are a heavy feeder. They are mostly a leafy crop, so that means they use a lot of nitrogen. So if you haven't done a soil test in a long time, get one done and see if your soil is deficient. A healthy dose of compost does wonders for all the brassicas. So get yourself a soil test if you don't know what the nutritional value in your soil actually is. Pest pressure, like I was mentioning, pest pressure, pretty easy to mitigate if you have an insect barrier, insect netting that you can put over the top of your brassicas. Start early, start as soon as you get them in the ground, because you never know once those cabbage butterfly moths show up and start laying their eggs on the plant, in and around on the soil, then they can be devastating. Slugs and things like that might be a problem, like with my Chinese cabbage. You need to deal with those. Aphids may be a problem also. Some people use companion planting, marigolds, people swear by. I feel that you have to plant an awful lot of marigolds in order to balance out that insect pressure and keep them away from your brassicas. It's time for me to start getting some of those brassica seeds into soil and start them germinating so I can dream of planting them out in April if the snow is all gone. So I hope you like this video. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know what brassica varieties that you're planting. What do well in your area? I'm always on the lookout for maybe new varieties. I do have my tried and trues that I do like, but there might be something out there that I'm missing. So until the next time that we can go digging in the dirt, happy gardening. Bye.